Bonjour, I'm Antoine. Today on interview, Kelly Coventry, VP Business Development of All-Boro Inc. Let's go meet her. How are you?
Oh, well, how are you, my friend?
See.
Absolutely.
Yes. So, okay, let's dive in.
Okay.
So tell us who you are, where you're from.
Sure.
How long you've been living in New York.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm a native New Yorker.
That's great. We love that.
Born, bred, and raised. I've lived in New York my entire life, Long Island primarily.
Long Island?
Yep.
Do you think that since you've been in that industry, sexism, patriarchy, mansplaining has been less and less present, or is there or more was prevalent as before?
I have to say, unfortunately, Anton, it's still kind of prevalent. There's still a lot of gender bias.
Yes.
But what I have found, it goes both ways, quite honestly. There are some old school gentlemen that would prefer it just say in a man's game.
Yes.
But it's really starting to open up, which I'm happy to see, and there's a lot of welcoming people in the industry, and there's a lot of organizations that support women in the industry.
What has motivated you to go into that industry? Was it a challenge, or was it because the offer was just too good to be to be refused upon?
Well, so I actually worked in healthcare, and I was in business development in healthcare, in sales in healthcare. And I can really get behind a service or a product. Absolutely, doesn't matter the industry. But I found myself that I was really starting to get stale, and I happened to have a friend who had a friend who was
That's
looking.
how it works usually.
Who was looking for somebody, a business development person.
So how's the industry welcomed you? Was it open arms, suspicious, or disdain?
Or all of the above?
All of the above?
It's definitely all of the above.
Really?
Again, you have some of the old timers that don't. I'm not going to say they don't respect women, but they just don't think this is a field that they should be in.
Still, huh?
Yeah. And then you have some of the new guys that welcome you with open arms. So, it's a mixed bag. It all depends on what you get.
Has the industry shaped you in a certain way? Did you have to adapt, in other words, to the thing,
Yeah.
Oui.
So, it has. It never in my wildest dreams, Anton, did I ever think that I would be in an industry where I'm involved with renovating homes or buildings or dealing with mold issues. So it really has shaped me, and it's opened and broadened my horizons, and also opened and broadened my education.
What part of you is front and center versus the person that when comes back home, or are you a completely different person from where you work and where you're at home, or this is who I am, this is what you get?
This is what you get. That's why I'm smiling. I'm the same exact person.
You're the same exact person.
Popeye said, I am what I am. I absolutely am what I am.
So what would you say to a young woman who would like to get into that field? What would be your first piece of advice?
My first piece of advice? Educate. Absolutely.
In what way educate?
Well, there's so many programs out there now. There's universities and colleges that have programs for men and women, but more women are participating in these classes.
Interesting.
There's organizations like NAWIC, which is the National Association for Women in Construction. They have mentorships, they have opportunities to grow in networking and marketing. So just educate, and also believe in yourself. Don't let anybody tear you down.
do you think that your vision for a project from a woman perspective is a plus when you compete in this environment, or is that really strictly based on your expertise? But do you also add a kind of a touch that maybe men wouldn't have think of?
You know what? It's a good question. I think absolutely you have to have the expertise there. You just have to.
Yeah.
But perspective, everybody has a different perspective. So I think all of it is welcome. Like when we work on projects, there's a team of us that work together. Mm-hmm. Everybody brings to the table a different perspective. And so you've got to pick from each of them, and then that you get the best quote for the customer.
Do you think that your vision as a woman in this industry is more like a plus for any project you bid on, or is that solely based on your expertise? I mean, I personally think that feminine sensibility is always a plus when different vision, especially in a very male-centric industry. So how do you approach that? Do you think it's like definitely a plus now?
Oh, I absolutely think it's a plus. It can only enhance a project. And while you have to have the expertise there, for sure, the perspectives coming from both sides of the table, men and women, can only help to enhance the overall project, and can only help to enhance the quote that we'll be able to provide to our customer.
What have you learned from New Yorkers in general, I would say, and also in your industry, or New Yorkers in the construction industry?
Okay. Born and raised here. I've been a New Yorker, my whole life. And the one thing that
so
I
you don't
would
see
say,
too much changes.
No, quite honestly. But the one thing that I would say is you have to have a thick skin. If you're going to make it anywhere,
that's true.
You have to have a thick skin here. You have to also, though, deliver what you say you're going to deliver. You can put stuff out there, make sure you've got your facts right, make sure you've done your research. Because in order to gain trust and the faith of your customer, you have to deliver what their expectation is. And I think industry-based, I think no never means no, Anton.
Have you ever lost a deal that you still regret having lost because you didn't have that much experience in the beginning?
I did.
And what would you say to yourself, few years later?
I did. So one of the customers that we have is hospitals and healthcare systems. And I was working on getting into this hospital, and I got in early in my career.
Great.
Yeah, or so I thought. And I had a meeting with the director of engineering, and as I did previously in other meetings, I pulled out my phone only to take notes, so I knew exactly what he wanted me to do. And he got indignant, and he yelled at me and told me this meeting is over.
Of a meeting.
It was awful. It was so awful. And it threw me off my game, and I got rattled. And so
what would you say to yourself now?
Don't get rattled, but be true to yourself. You got this, and you know what you're talking about, and doesn't matter if he's bigger than you or his title. Just keep moving forward.
Do you think that that's at one point building will be sustainable?
That's a tough question to answer because
because we don't have a crystal ball.
There's always new technology coming out. I would agree with you with that, but I still feel that there's a lot of different moving parts. And even though we are addressing them, I still think that they are going to need a little help, that they're not just going to be able to sustain themselves.
How do you handle customers that have, that have budget that doesn't match their vision. Usually the vision is slightly bigger than the budget, so let's talk about that.
That's very, very true, and that
What do
happens
you say to them?
more times than you think. And you know what? Unfortunately, you have to be honest with them
Yeah.
and tell
Honest
them.
is good, I like that.
You have to tell them what they need to hear,
Yeah.
not what they want to hear.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes you can't do their project for what they want. So you have to educate them and let them look at it a different way and work with them. And they can still come to the same expectation.
Yeah.
They just have to come about it in a different angle.
Yeah. If you were a tool or an object to help you perform your work,
Okay.
what would you be?
I would say I would have to be a pencil sharpener.
A pencil sharpener. All right,
Yes.
okay. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, pencil sharpener would help me sharpen my pencil so that I can sharpen my skills and my sketches and help my customer sharpen their vision.
That's it, folks. That was Kelly Coventry, VP Business Development of All-Boro. So please, if you have any project, contact her, any construction business, contractor, she'll quote you right. Thank you very much for watching. You know the drill. Just subscribe, share, comment, like. We need you all. But in the meantime, it's
Selfie time.
selfie time. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.